Well, I tell you, I don't know what we would do if we didn't have the rural independents and the other TDs to tell us this amazing information, because, you know, women don't know that the internet exists where they can actually get all this information themselves without us passing it into a law. So thank you for all of you for insisting that this must be put into the law. So while you were speaking there, I took the liberty of going on one of these internet websites that you think all women must be told about. And now your original motion, and you have changed it slightly since the committee stage, but your original motion was that women, for all reasons, any person who's pregnant, be it for fatal fetal abnormality, be it for health or whatever, had to be subjected to this full-on intimidation procedure. You've changed it now to exclude that because you knew how cruel and callous it looked. So presumably this will be for your standard person going into the GP under 12 weeks. And what they'll find when they look up the internet at 8 weeks is a fetus the size of a raspberry. They'll see at 12 weeks, you know, fetus the size of 2 inches. So what amazing information do you think that these airhead women are going to find out after you pass this amendment? Like, seriously, it's beyond belief. Now, just to say, I'll deal with the motion really quickly. We all know why these motions, these groups of motions are being tabled. It's not to do any concern for women. And as soon as I finish, I'll be going over to women that are really under threat to hear Vicky Phelan speaking about the life-saving drug that she'd like extended to all women. But the idea that anybody who's going through this procedure would have to be shown the probable anatomical and physiological features, they'd have to be told about fetal pain, they'd have to be, a little ring around would be done of adoption agencies or public and private agencies that might want to take their baby off them. Like, women can decide to have abortions, even if you do all of these things. You know, they'll still make that decision. And I love the way you were going to find houses for them all. Yes, you're right, there is a housing crisis. If only every woman who is pregnant had a house. In fact, a lot of pregnant people don't. I think in the previous one you wanted the father of the fetus to be brought into the equation as well. Or is that still in it? Oh, sorry. And, you know, this idea that these poor, poor girls, if only they knew the real information, they'd suddenly change their minds and decide not to have an abortion. No, they can get this information without you forcing it down their throats. You know, they really don't need you making it a law that a doctor would have to subject them to shame, guilt, upset, to delay, to out-and-out misogyny, because that's what it is. And you know, there's no need for you to try to trigger people. It's really ghoulish. All of these motions are absolutely ghoulish. And it's hard to know how somebody could sit down and write them. And at the committee, I made the point that you need to go back to the 1950s and you need to let the 66% of people who voted for this, and many others who accept that verdict, to move on and to progress. And have done with it. So I'm not going to take up any more time, but I just felt it was important to call that out.